And we are going. What's going on with everybody? It is your boy Eric, aka Young Guy, coming to you live in the Green Dungeon, giving it to you real raw rugged. And I'm not going to do my regular introduction because I just thought about it. There's going to be a lot of people probably looking at this because they want to see you. They're like, "Who is this absolute idiot in a bonnet?" So I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Eric. I do interviews and reviews, and it's pretty much it. And I probably am an idiot in a bonnet, but for the people that are watching this and like, okay, who's the guy on the other line? I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Nah, it's not true. People are here for people who watch this for Eric. But I'm Alphonse. I'm a rap critic, writer, and thank you for having me here, Eric. Because we wanted to chat about some of my favorite shit from the year.
Of course, I'm gonna break down what's gonna happen. Basically, make a long story short, I don't know if you guys remember Joe Budden and Charlemagne. They used to do these videos where they basically wrap up hip hop at the end of the year, and they always used to say, or Charlemagne used to say specifically, he'll be like, "There needs to be somebody younger doing this. Like, I get that we're doing this, but we need to stop doing this because there needs to be younger, hip people that know what they're talking about." I feel like that never really came, so I said, you know what? I feel like I'm younger. I'm a little hip. I'll throw my name in the bucket. Then I thought, and I was like, who else is younger? Maybe a little hip. I was like, oh, everybody's favorite villain, allegedly everybody's favorite alt boy. Maybe, who knows? I still don't know what the fuck that means. But I was like, let me see how Alphonse want to do it. Alphonse said, of course I want to do it. So yes, this is us. Hopefully we make this a yearly thing where we just wrap up music. You know what I'm saying? And we just talk about what happened. So yeah, man, you ready, man?
Yeah, I'm ready to dive in. I want to hear top 10. I know you got some shit on there.
Well, I'm gonna throw you with a curveball. Actually, we're not gonna start off with music. We're gonna start off with your love, maybe your first love, according to your letterboxed film. Man, I want to hear, what did you think about shows, movies this year? What was your favorites? Disappointment? Just for anybody watching, somebody on this website KTT introduced me to his letterbox by saying, "Why does this nigga only watch movies from 1910?" And I was like, I don't know. That's actually a good question. So I'm actually curious for this year. What were you rocking with? What weren't you rocking with?
Yeah, it's not quite 1910, but I do like watching older movies. So this year, I was definitely not in the movie theaters heavy watching a lot of new stuff. Though I did see new stuff I liked. I liked the American propaganda films, Top Gun.
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not classified as American propaganda. That is American cinema right there. It's a great movie.
Shit was fire.
Yeah.
What else? And I like Jordan Peele's Nope. I thought it was cool.
I have to see that. I'm watching that tonight.
Really?
Yeah, I'm watching that tonight.
Yeah, a lot of people are gassing. A lot of people are like, oh, it's better than Get Out. I'm not quite there yet with it, but I think it's cool. I think it's like a nice, like, his take on like some sort of like Spielberg type big event movie. But I was definitely watching a lot of old stuff, a lot of Hong Kong action movies. A couple of my favorites. I watched The Duel, this Chang Che movie from 1971, Fire. Also, Patrick Tom's The Sword, a bunch of Yun Bao movies, and also just a lot of like westerns, Jimmy Stewart westerns, hard-boiled film noirs.
Okay.
So that's what I was heavy into this year. I spent a lot of my time doing that.
Well, before I get into what I was watching this year, can I give you a movie suggestion that is a western, but it came out last year?
Yeah.
Old Henry.
Old Henry.
Have you heard of Old Henry?
Is that the one with Terry Crews?
No.
No, that's John.
Hey, Terry Crews. Is Terry Crews in a western?
I don't know. I saw he was in some movie like last year.
Nigga, that's hilarious. Imagine Terry Crews like fucking Rifleman or something. No, man.
Maybe I'm tripping, but
No. Old Henry. I don't think there might be a nigga in this movie. Now I think about it, it might be not one nan nigga in this movie. But Old Henry was a super good western from 2021. Would put that on your recommendation list whenever you get a chance. But what I was watching this year, like I said, want to watch Nope. One of my favorite movies was the Netflix movie. I don't know if you heard of it. It was I think it was All Quiet on the Western Fronts. It's a German war movie.
I heard a lot of people say they like that.
Super good movie. It's basically like a whole bunch of German kids hyped up for World War One. They're like, yo, we finna fight for the country. We turned up. Then they get to the war and they're like, oh, this shit real. Like this shit crazy. And
So it's like it's low key like a coming of age type thing, and then they're like,
yeah, it's like, well, we're fighting for our country, fight for our country, and then like they see niggas die, and they like, oh shit, like, and it's like kids, these like 18-year-old like kids just getting away from their mom and stuff, and this niggas cry. I guess it's a really very like uncomfortable movie. There's one scene, not gonna spoil it for anybody who's seen it, but there's like a 5-minute scene that might be the most uncomfortable scene I've seen this year. If anybody just wants to watch like a very like just in your face war movie, we'll throw it out there. What else did I watch this year that I really liked? I just watched Smile the other day. That was cool.
okay, I heard people say they like that.
Yeah, that was cool. My homeboy keeps trying to put me on this movie called RRR. Have you heard of this?
Nah, yeah, I haven't watched it yet just because of the runtime. I just didn't find the time yet, but I want to watch it.
So long. But yeah, he's keep telling me to watch that. One movie I kind of fell off, didn't watch a lot this year, but there's a lot of stuff I do want to watch. Like, what's the one movie, Everywhere, Every something?
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
You seen that?
Yeah. Nah, I haven't.
It's so much stuff that I want to see, but I haven't.
Yeah, see, there's just a lot of stuff. I was just not into going to the movie theaters. Yeah, I just kind of sat it out. You know?
But I will give, before we get to the music, I will declare my favorite show of the year by far. Know a lot of people love the Bear Show. It was cool. It's not really my style. Severance, that is my show of the year by far.
At first, you didn't like the Bear, or you just thought it was fine.
It was good, but I don't care for the uncut gem style. Like, oh, it's anxiety building. I'm so scared. Oh, like I don't care, bro. Like,
they got that one episode that's basically like toward the end. It's like the 7th episode or something. That's basically all that.
Yes. Did you like it?
I thought it was cool. I wasn't like, I don't think it's like a show of the year or anything.
But have you been seeing people like hype it up as like, oh, this is like one of the best shows of the year?
Nah, yeah, I think people are like obsessed with it, and I can see why. You know, like
it's Uncut Gems type of like style of show or whatever.
Nah, yeah, I feel that, but I just thought it was cool. I gotta watch Severance. I don't have Apple yet.
Hey, I tell this to everybody. Everybody who's watching this for you. Nigga, they give out Apple trials to anybody. Like, legitimately, you can get a 12-month trial, like, for, oh, like, you a nigga? You get a 12-month trial. Like, oh, you got a boyfriend? Oh, you get a 12-month trial. Like, literally anything, they give out 12-month trials for. So, I don't know if you've used a trial already, but if you haven't, they give out trials for anything.
Yeah, I was just trying to hold out on that one. I got so many damn streaming services, man. I got freaking Peacock. I just be watching. What was I watching on Peacock? I be watching wrestling on there. I got.
You watch wrestling?
Yeah, I watch Mad Wrestling.
We never talked about. How we never talked about the way? This would be a whole nother shit right here. I never talked about that. That's crazy. I have Peacock for free because I have Xfinity, and yeah, I definitely was fucking turned up because I was like, I don't got to play for the network anymore. I just used Peacock for free. So did not know you watch wrestling. That's very interesting.
No, yeah, we watching it every week, man.
What? All right, we're gonna talk about that later. But that's an interesting development. I was just looking at Peacock, literally probably like 4 hours before we called because they got the. I don't know if you've seen they got the little documentary about the nigga Teddy Hart, Bret Hart, fucking what's his name, nephew, because killing shit. He's a crazy nigga. I don't know if you know too much about that nigga, but I didn't really know too much about him. He's a wild nigga. Wild nigga right there, but yes, Peacock.
You see the dude from The Bear is gonna be in the Von Erich movie.
Which one?
The main guy.
The main dude.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of the Von Erichs in the story about him and Zac Efron.
Zac Efron, I know. MJF is in the movie.
MJF is in the movie.
Yes, MJF is. He's like one of the. I think he's one of the Von Erichs, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you pro MJF?
So
I know a lot of people say he's like overhyped.
So I was more pro MJF, like, I was more pro MJF like a minute ago, but now that he's won the title, don't know if you've been just watching that, but like Ricky killed. I'm a big Ricky guy. Ricky Starks, I feel like low key could be the damn next generation Rock. Like that nigga got so much charisma. I love him. I love Ricky, and like when they did that promo. He killed MJF, and I was like, because MJF was kind of, oh, you stink, you're an incel, but like Ricky was tearing that nigga up. I don't know how you feel about MJF, but I love Ricky.
I mean, I like MJF. I was a little bit more into him before the whole like shoot controversy thing that was going on. I feel like when he came back, and especially after like Punk left, I feel like the whole Moxley. I'm not a John Moxley guy. I mean, I love I loved him back in the day. I loved like the Shield era, but I've never. He was always my least favorite of that, and I've never gotten it.
There's so many people watching this like, what the fuck are these dorks talking about right now? What the fuck is a John Moxley? Hey, we're going to talk about this when we're done because I actually want to see, pick your brain about wrestling. But yes, that's what I would say to you. Apple gives literally free trials out to anybody. So if you want a free trial, it's not hard. So Severance, definitely checked it out. That's my favorite of the year. But yeah, man, that's a quick movie and TV show wrap up. Let's get to this music, man. I don't know where we should start at. I have a couple things written down, just like, let me see. I didn't come up with a name for this. There needs to be a name for this. I literally just wrote down Alphonse and Eric Show. That's not a good name for this. So we'll come up with something later. Let me see. What do we have? I guess we could start in a more general. I feel like we should end off with the best albums, but let's start with a more general sense of just different scenes, you know what I'm saying? And I know you showed me some dudes from Milwaukee, so I'm gonna let you kick it off, or I'll kick it off. I'll let you think since I'm just kind of spawning it on you. But there's a lot of scenes starting from just like the pandemic that I feel like really started to, because we had like Atlanta going on for so long. It was really just Atlanta dominated. But I feel like the start of the pandemic, that's when you seen Detroit or just Michigan in general start to pop up. And I feel like they've carried that momentum into this year with niggas like Babyface Ray. You got your Samuel Shabazz. You got Peasy with one of the biggest songs of the year. Would have locked in. Ain't no switching up. Like, niggas love that song.
It's crazy. I didn't even realize how big that. I love that song, but I didn't even realize how big it was until I was just like on YouTube like yesterday or 2 days ago. And I was like, this shit has like 20 million views. I was like, what is going on right now? I was on Instagram and Jim Jones was dropping a freestyle over it. Like he's like talking about like, yo, Peasy's my brother. I'm like, yo, what is going on right now?
That is a Jim Jones beat. I can hear Jim Jones over that. That's really funny. I gotta go listen to that.
It actually wasn't that good. He was. I was like, it sounds like it should work, but it really doesn't.
Dang. Well, never mind. Have you heard the remix of that?
The one with Real Boss and Richey.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it as much as it's kind of unnecessary, but
I'm gonna tell you why it's not unnecessary. I don't really care for anybody else's verse, but Robb 49. I don't know how you feel about Robb 49, but Robb 49 is so different to me. I'm gonna tell you why I feel like he's different. If we're talking about scenes, talk about Louisiana. They got a scene that's popping right now. They got him. They got a YoungBoy. You know what I'm saying? They got Kevin Gates. Huh?
No cap.
No.
Oh wait, that's Alabama.
Yes, that's Bama. But they got some young niggas popping out there. But Robb 49, my thoughts on Robb 49 is I think he's so unique because, one, it's certain times where he doesn't rhyme. Like, he will go like 8 bars with no rhyming. And I'm like, I don't know if I should hate this or love this. But he has his own style. And I'm trying to say this as in the least problematic way that I can. I'm just flat out say it. Robb 49 sounds like if you put somebody that was a little slow in the booth and you just told him, hey, go figure it out. And he did it. Because he raps like he has no, he has no reference of what rap is. And he's just creating his own thing. And I absolutely love it. That nigga's amazing to me. He slid on that. But like I said, Detroit, they got their thing going. Of course, Florida, they're popping. I did a whole article on them on Complex with the real Boston Richies, the Woodboy G's. Just talked about Wiz having.
That's a great article right there.
I appreciate that, my brother. Lil Tyler, a bunch of people from Florida that are popping right now. And one of the things that I love is that it's not that violent. Jacksonville, I mean, a lot of violent music. Outside of that, just people talking about making money. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like motivation music. You listen to Golden Boy. Golden Boy literally raps about like I'm not the hitman. Like, I just sell drugs. Or I just sell weed, really. And
yeah, it is a little refreshing, especially as like the drill has become such like a dominant style or influence. And so like Florida is just like way of just being like, yo, I'm just gonna make some cool shit is refreshing, you know.
There you go. And yeah, I think that's my 2 favorite scenes right now is Florida and Michigan. I don't know if I'm missing somebody. I will think about it. But yeah, I don't know if you have any scenes you've been tapped in with.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna like also say Florida because like as I've been talking to you throughout the year, like I feel like every like couple weeks, couple months, I have like a new Florida rapper that's like my favorite rapper. I think I have a couple of them on my list actually. Maybe 1 or 2. There's so many. I mean, like we were talking about Mari Montana like a couple
Forgot
weeks
about
ago.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, I love like the songs he's put on SoundCloud this year. He has some of my favorite songs, but it was some like the Money on My Head, Superstar, like man, he was going in. Who else is there? I like Jimbo World. I don't know. We haven't spoken about him. About like him. What was that album he put out this year? I've listened to a lot of the fast versions too. So
Ooh, okay.
I like Jimbo World.
Hey, shout out to I just interviewed Fast Legend Pioneer DJ Fetty Fee, one of the best doing it. Shout out to Fetty Fee, that's my guy. So yeah, shout out to that.
Yeah, and then the other scene for me is definitely Milwaukee. I was listening to that scene heavy this year. Certified Trapper. I don't know if you've done the deep dive into the Certified Trapper.
I'm familiar.
YouTube work yet.
Familiar.
Is a trip. You know, All Night Flights is one of my favorite songs of the year. What else? Who else is up there? I mean, you got like rappers like this is an album I've listened to by a rapper named Funny Shmoney. Milwaukee rappers always got the best names too.
Funny Shmoney.
We were talking to I like Chicken P. We were talking about Mari Boy Mulamar. Yeah, I mean Milwaukee. Like it really sounds like you were comparing it a bit to Michigan, but I think it definitely sounds somewhat similar. But I think it's somewhat of its own thing too. You know, just like with the instrumentals, the funkiness. A lot of the instrumentals sound old in like a good way. Like not old in like they're like familiar, but just like it feels like they were made like 20 years ago. And so I really like that. And of course we got to talk a little bit about Memphis too. I mean Glorilla, the whole crew. You know, Gloss Up.
They're good.
Yeah, Aliza, Slime Roni, K Carbon, like they were snapping.
They're good. I guess I could transition to this because you talking about Glorilla is another breath of fresh air for me, and I'll get into why after I kind of get into this question, and I'll let you answer it first. What is your thoughts on the current state of hip hop?
It's the broadest ass question you could possibly ask.
Well, let me start off, and I'll give you my thoughts, and maybe you can just go from there. So that was a damn general ass question, but okay. So I brought this up in my Wiz Happen interview. I was just asking about this because me and my friend Robb, we talk about this all the time. So I feel like hip hop, I feel like it's very just like kind of lazy just to say like, oh, they're doing the same thing all over or same thing, everything sounds the same or whatever. Because if you want to find something, you can find it. Because I mean, we talk about you can go listen to a Mike or you can go listen to a Golden Boy, you can go listen to whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like Lil Durk. Yeah. Like it's a bunch of things everywhere. But I will say something that I have taken. Just like, man, this is kind of lazy, and I want to know your opinion on this. So I think street rap is now dominating hip hop for the most part. Like a lot of the biggest rappers are street rappers, and that's cool. I'm totally fine with that. But I think a lot of these younger niggas, I'm not even talking about like the Michigan niggas, because them niggas who I feel like the breath of fresh air. But a lot of these younger niggas, they're rapping about the same exact thing. It's I killed the nigga, I just robbed this nigga, I'm Satan, I'm evil. It's like, okay, can you give me something else? Because let's think about any other era of street gangster rap. Take it back from NWA, you could take it to Wu-Tang. All of them niggas have different type of songs. Like, it's not just, I'm the Grim Reaper, da 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 da. It's like they have different types of songs. Even take it back to the South where you got like Plies. Plies got songs. Every song by Plies isn't I'm the biggest, baddest man of all time. He got a Shawty. He got 100 years. You got Boosie. Boosie got plenty of songs that's not like that. You got Webby. Plenty of songs not like that. And these are gangster rappers, street rappers from the South. So it's like, dude, the only thing you know is just like killing, doing this. But that might go to like a cultural thing. Because my homeboy Rari take on it is, these young niggas just don't got no, they off of drugs. They not thinking. That's all they know. They don't got nothing else to rap about. But I feel like it's such a limited, such a small, minute thing just to stay on this, I kill niggas, I do this. But it's like, okay, bro, can you give me a different perspective? So I think that's becoming redundant. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's something in hip-hop is like, man, that has to change.
I mean, I think there are rappers like that. I mean, there's so many rappers that it's hard to, like, say that is, like, a general thing. And I mean, a lot of it is like the way streaming works. You know, people find something that works and they want to make sure there's as much as that as possible, so they keep pumping out like somewhat like different versions of the same song. But I feel if you look within scenes, even scenes that you would feel are dominated by that, there are artists within them that are doing different things. Like even if you look at something like in the New York drill scene, you know, like the New York drill scene has been thought of as like one sound for a while, but then somebody like Ice Spice came. Whatever your thoughts are on Ice Spice, I don't know your thoughts, but she is making. She's technically like the sound of her music is like drill music. She's coming from that scene in the Bronx, and she sprouted because of that. And it doesn't really sound like it's what we were talking about before. Her music is really just like cool shit. It's her just being fly, you know. And so I think even within like the scenes that are most can be the most defined by that, there are artists there that are like doing what you're talking about.
No, I agree. I think that I would just say, like, even though you can find those artists within, I feel like usually within that sound, that's probably going to be the sound that's dominating. And that's kind of like what the young niggas is hearing. So all the other young niggas is like, oh, this is what's popping? This is how I got to rap. Like, it's like these 12-year-olds in Atlanta. Bro, Atlanta might be hell. Like, them niggas are crazy out there. It's like this little 12-year-old boy. He got this song where he say, if I got beef with, he's like a little baby. If I got beef with a nigga, I go and kill it mama. Then I go and take it daddy. And like, that's all the nigga rap about is just like straight ignorant shit. And it's like, bro, I get it. Certain niggas is living that life. But there's other qualities to a human outside of kill, kill, kill. Unless you're fucking like Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, you're just a complete psychopath serial killer. And I think that's just what I want to hear street niggas rap about different things. That's why, like I said, even if you rap about drugs, I listen to Los and Nutty. Them niggas is rapping from a very specific perspective that's like, okay, I appreciate this. Like, this is a different specific perspective. That's all I want out of these street niggas. But maybe I'm asking for too much. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if you're asking for too much, but I think the rappers who do that will distinguish themselves and will stand out. Like somebody like Los and Nutty stands out to you, and they'll stand out to tons of other people who listen to Michigan rap or listen to rap in general, just because they're like, okay, they're rapping about something that is somewhat familiar to what everybody else is rapping about it, but they're rapping about it from like, they're making it feel like it's like you're reading like a crime novel or something like that, you know? And so those rappers will continue to stand out, even if like what you're saying continues to be more of like the trend.
For sure. And I guess before we get into the albums and kind of talking about street shit or whatever, I feel like before we get into the albums, just want to give condolences to some of the people that died this year. You know, you have like the Takeoffs, and you have Jada Young and P&B Rock. There's gonna be a lot of people that are probably missed. I think Snooty Wild died this year as well.
Lil Keed.
Lil Keed died of I think he overdosed. Yes, rest in peace, Lil Keed. Lot of rappers going way too soon. You know what I'm saying? So that always sucks to see.
Even older generation legends like in Jersey, like Tame One, you know, Hurricane G,
K-Slay.
Yeah, K-Slay,
Island,
Granddaddy IU. You know, it was a lot of like legends. It was definitely a dark year for rap. I was thinking about that a lot, and like there was a lot of death, a lot of rappers in jail, a lot of RICO cases, and you know, it really is a difficult time to like talk about rap. You know,
what makes you say that?
It's just that I don't know. I feel like it was weighing a lot on me this year, and not like it was like compared, like this was like different than it was like when somebody like Pop Smoke died or something like that. But it just felt like every week and every month, and it was just nonstop, and it was just something that was just looming over the genre where that these constant tragedies were happening. And so it was hard for me to even think about like I'm a writer, so you know I'm trying to like contextualize these things and think about them, and it affects the way you listen to music. And so I just felt that it was something that just loomed over everything this year.
No, for sure. Like I said, I think it's a much broader conversation, because just to limit it to rap, I feel like would be inaccurate, because it's just like for the people who died of like gun violence and stuff, not like people who overdosed or natural causes and stuff, but like people who died of gun violence. That's just like it's like a culture thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a much more representation of like where we're at. You feel me? And I'll just say this, man. I always say, man, it's like it's almost like this is how black people is. It's almost like if I had a son and I just bullied this nigga, his mama bullied his nigga, his cousins, his brothers, his sisters, everybody bullied this nigga. This nigga probably gonna grow up not okay. And I feel like that is a representation of black culture. It's like niggas got over here on slave boats and shit just kept happening. Shit kept, oh, we're gonna do the Tulsa shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all are bombing these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we're gonna do some Black Panther shit. Oh, for real? Killing y'all niggas. Like, it's, oh, we're gonna try to be better. We'll put crack in the
So
hood.
what do you say? So you're saying it's like systemic, like it's like something like
Exactly. I'm just saying that where we're at today is a end result in just prodding, just like stabbing. It's like, okay, that motherfucker just gonna start to leak out if nobody put an actual bandage on it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like there's been actual no bandage, and then when a bandage is put on, they rip that shit right back off. So it's like where we're at right now. I feel like I don't know what the answer is, but like I said, I think it's a much more cultural problem than just a hip hop problem. It's you know what I'm saying. It's just some shit black people got to deal with.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you see it. I mean, I'm in New York. You know, it's like you look around. And I remember earlier this year when Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, was like talking about drill music and how it's like he's like, oh, I want to ban it, and all this stuff. But he was talking about the music, but he was not talking about like what caused the music to sound like that. What caused the music to have that desperate feeling in it, you know? And it's something that, as the mayor of New York, you think somebody like that would be able to address that. You know, it's the poverty, the you see the prices out here, the inflation, especially like, you know, I'm in New York, prices are crazy. People can't afford to live, and it's something that will always be reflected in the music.
I want to throw this out there to you. I mean, am I a pessimistic nigga? Because at this point, I'm like, bro, I don't really think there's anything that can be fixed unless niggas like do some Marcus Garvey shit and just move to another country. Like, I feel like this country, like, niggas been trying to fight for all this shit and trying to fix, like, niggas try to heal within the country where you keep getting beat up. You can't get beat up. That's like going to the same school every day, knowing niggas gonna beat your ass, but you like, I'm gonna get up and go anyway. It's like, all right, bro, I don't know how, I done told the principal, shit ain't happened. Like, ain't really too much that can be fixed. So I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of at the point where it's like, shit ain't just meant for us. Like, at this point, it's way beyond repair. We need an actual, like, reset.
I mean, I don't think it's wrong to be pessimistic. I mean, given like everything we've seen and everything we continue to see, there's not like that much that would give you hope about anything, and there's definitely not like a magic pill or fix to anything. And so it's kind of like, I don't know. You need somebody with like some imagination. I guess that's an important word. I feel like that. You know, if it will take something that is like extremely imaginative or something that is very hard to think about or think of, or like that sounds like a foreign concept. And so,
see, and in my pessimistic brain, all I can see is, oh, that nigga imaginative. Well, let's put a bullet in his brain. And it's like, all right, well, they took out that nigga too. So I don't know, man. Maybe you're the leader we're looking for. Maybe you go and debate Eric Adams or some shit.
Not me. I don't know what he's talking about right now.
That is hilarious. But yeah, man. Moral of the story is rest in peace to the people that we just talked about. And yeah, man. One of these days, man, you can only be hopeful that we live in a much more peaceful society. But with that said, I think music can bring peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, I legit think like music has like a lot of power to it. So that's why I like talking about it. Like, listening to them niggas like Mike and shit. Like, bro, them niggas bring peace to my heart. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, bro, this shit's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I listen to some rap songs. I'm like, bro, this shit, he made this for the brothers. He made this for the sisters. Like, I be feeling that. So, like, hey, man, music is powerful. And that's, I'm glad we could talk about that today, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Quick question. We're gonna be listening to albums. I like 10 favorite albums of the year.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, do you think talking about rap specifically as an album list, you think it's somewhat like regressive in a way?
Yeah.
Because you're like straight up, yeah.
Yeah.
because I was putting my list together, right, and I was just like, I feel like the way I think of a good album isn't the way I should be thinking of a good album. It's almost like the way like the classic like Rock Rider or something thought of a good album. It's something that has maybe some sort of like thematic through line. Maybe it has a cohesive sound or it conveys a mood. And those are the albums I generally consider like, oh, these are my favorite albums of the year. But I feel like the albums maybe that I listen to more aren't like that as much. They're sometimes just a random compilation of songs that are thrown together that jump all over the place. That is pretty imperfect. Like even when I go back, like this year, I was trying to listen to a lot of like older albums, and a lot of the ones I gravitated to were a little bit like imperfect, or were in like these stone cold classics that are like front to back. You want to listen to them, and so I feel like making this list was trying to like get out of that and trying to find a way to talk about albums that maybe that don't have to be perfect,
Two things. One, everybody who watches my channel knows I say this every time I do the like the albums of the year list. I hate doing reviews. I mean, I hate doing rankings because, like you said before we got on here, tomorrow your list might be completely different just off the way you feel. Same thing with
Yeah.
me. So that's why I don't like list in general, like definitely listing music. And two, hey bro, the people that I grew up with really influenced the way I listen to music. And bro, them niggas ain't rate. Them niggas ain't rank shit. Oh, this is number 7. Oh, this is a 7 out of 10. Like, bro, I say this is good, but this shit hard. But this shit trash. This shit dookie. This shit like that's how niggas talk about music. So I don't do when I review an album. I don't give it a number. I just say this hard. Or, it's cool. Or this I just say how I feel about it because giving it a number, then niggas go back. Hey, you done seen how niggas do a pitchfork? Oh, how you rate this a 6? But this a 5? You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro. Shit good. Like that's all you need to know. I like it, and I don't need to get into numbers. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of ranking. The only reason I'm doing is because niggas do want to see like how it's quantified or whatever. But bro, I just tell you how I feel about it, man.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking about like what would my singles list? Like, my singles list would be completely different,
yeah.
If we were doing the singles like versus the albums, I'm
Well,
sure you're agree too.
exactly. Well, before we even get into that list, I want to know what the honorable mentions was. Who didn't make the list? Things that you do still want to shout out. Maybe something was slept on. It's not in the top 10, but he's like, hey, I do want to shout this out because this is a really good album.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about the Peasy before. I think I like most of that album. The only built for Diamond
Yeah.
Links. I was listening to what was it? I was listening to Cruise earlier. There's a lot of songs like the back end of that album that I just really think are just like smooth rapping, and his flow definitely sounds developed, and not that it was like old or something before, but I think he really like stepped it up and came into his own, and he sounds it just sounds like it's just shit's hard.
Who we talking about? Cruz?
That was a song on the album, the Peasy album.
Oh, my fault, my fault. Okay, for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
But did you like the album?
Yes, I did. It was a good album.
Yeah. What else did I really like? I really like the Flo Milli album. I don't know if you heard that one.
I did.
Did you listen to it?
I did not.
Face Ray's on it actually.
Really? Okay.
Nah, you should listen to that song. He's cool on it. She's another one. A lot of energy. I think that I like her more definitely as a singles artist. Like, especially with a lot of the women in rap. I know there's not a lot of the women in rap on my albums list, but if it was a singles list, I feel like they'd be like half of it. And they've definitely been focusing on singles and maybe like short EPs. And so, but the Flo Milli one's a good one. We were talking about Atlanta before. I like this one by Baby Drill. Have you heard him?
Yeah, that's Nudie little cousin.
Yeah. And it definitely sounds like a little bit like Nudie's in the production choices, but I really like his voice. It's kind of like this high pitch like kind of thing going on. But yeah, those are some of mine.
Well, I told you I create this list is all over the place. There's things that need to be in my top 10 that will be in my actual video, like the Ab Soul album. It just came out so recently that I still need to listen to it a bit more, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna crack the top 10. Maybe even the Smino album. I forgot about that because I came out when I was sick, but I listened to that recently. I'm like, this probably needs to be in my top 10. So there's things that are
Yeah.
probably going to be in the final top 10, but things that aren't in the top 10 that I really did like are things like Kent James Fan Club. You familiar with Kent James?
I didn't listen to it.
You know who that is, though?
Yeah.
So I am a really big Overdose fan. I've always loved them, and when I heard that he was coming out with his solo album, debut album at that, I was like, I have to listen to this. This is Farrakhan's grandson. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
It's fucking Farrakhan's grandson. I was like, I gotta listen to this. And like I said, I've always been a big fan of Kent James. Really good album. It's what if you like Overdose and you like Kent James, like this, he gives you what you want. So that was
Man,
really good.
I used, what year was that when all those Overdose singles were? Was it like 2012 or something like that? I used to love those songs.
I know that one song that's produced by Pharrell that never had a last kiss, girl, which I thought was gonna be a hit when it came out. Did not become a hit. I don't know when that came out, but yeah, that was a minute ago, and I don't know what happened. Like I don't know why they never broke, but yes, I'm happy to see him do his thing. Something that's not in my top 10, but it could easily be in my top 10 because how much I played it. Los Kareem from New Orleans. Love that. I remember you loved part one. Or no. You loved what's the one with Topside? What's the tape you got with Topside? The
G Show
you
Volume
love G
1.
Shit. I love this part too. This is a very good album. I will say he had an all time terrible fucking murder or C murder feature. That C murder feature is hilarious. Shout out to C murder. Let me see anything else that did not crack the top 10.
Speaking of Los though, did you listen to the WB Nutty album he dropped this year?
Which one?
It's called City of Addiction.
Yes.
Man, I love that tape.
They're fire.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean before that, honestly, I wasn't like a Nutty guy.
Really?
Like, I mean, I liked them together, but like solo, I was kind of like cool or like lukewarm on his music. But that one right there, like he has a song Heavyweight on there. That one sold me right there.
Yo, what's the song on that album before? Because I'm done with my before the list. But the Bodie James, Nicholas Craven, Fair Exchange Robbery, fire album. But what's the song on that Nutty album, bro? On the second verse, it sounds like a demon possessed him. He's like, I put Fit on it. I put Rick on it. What song is that? I think it's
On City Addiction.
I think it's Me and My Brother. Is that on that album?
No, I think it's on one of their older ones.
Hold on. I gotta look this up. Because there's one, every time I'm here, I'm like, bro, is that Nutty? Like, who is this rapping? No, that's on Fuck What You Heard. Yeah, that's Me and My Little Brother. That's the intro to, that's on his last album. But either way, yes, big fan of Nutty. Shout out to him. But yeah, man, let's get into this top 10, man. How you starting? You gonna start off? I'm gonna start off. Who going first?
I'll start it off. I'll start with my number 10.
Okay.
It's Loe Shimmy's The End.
Okay.
Yeah, start off with something from Florida. Are you? I know you had him in your complex piece. How much do you like Loe Shimmy?
Hey, Loe Shimmy's fire, bro. I love Loe Shimmy. Loe Shimmy is that guy. He has a song called Ecstasy. It's not on there, but it's like a legit just like pop song. It's not even like a rap song. And I was like, bro, this nigga's very talented. I love Loe Shimmy. He's really good.
Nah, cause I like ZN a lot and I played it a lot, but he had to be like my favorite rapper of like the last 3-ish months of the year, just because I was on SoundCloud, just like listening to all the leaks. I was listening to the features. And honestly, if you like found a way to like compile all the songs he released throughout the year, like Bounty, man, that beat is crazy. It's kind of like jazzy and it's like not like something I've heard anywhere else this year.
They took it off streaming too. I don't know if you realized. I don't know why they did that.
No, I mean I've been listening to it on SoundCloud.
Gotcha.
But if he compiled all his songs that he put out this year, that would be like one of my favorite albums of the year. That song he put out with Lud Tyler like a couple weeks ago, the A Day in Noya. But Z End is cool. A lot of it has like these beats that are kind of like these slow grooving beats that kind of feel like something that somebody should be singing over, like they should be R&B beats, and and he's not quite being melodic, but he's kind of just like in this quiet, almost like whisper kind of almost singing, but not quite there. And I just played those songs a lot. Like he has one called Plot. He has another called I think there's one title after the mixtape, and there's the Shimmy vs. Shimmy 2. And a lot of it is really just like a lot of this really moody, creeping music. Did you get to that tape this year?
Yeah, I did like that tape. Like I said, I've been liking the stuff probably even more after the tape, like Bounty, Dan and Noya. I'm like, cause I first found out about this nigga because Lamar Jackson had played him like after a win, and I was like, bro, who is this? And it was on TNT. It was him and Hollywood Brown, Antonio Brown, little cousin. I'm like, yo, these niggas going crazy. I gotta tap in, and I feel like since then to now, he's improved so much. It's like you can tell he's working on his craft. So I'm very interested to see what he does in 2023. Monica called him her Z baby. I don't know if you've seen that.
Nah, I didn't see that. What is Monica doing?
Hey, for whatever reason, Kodak and Loe Shimmy look at like Monica like a auntie. I don't know the connection there, but they thought like Kodak was dating Monica, and she was like, I don't know how y'all thought that. She was like, them two boys, they're my little Z babies. So shout out to that. Maybe we get a Monica Loe Shimmy feature. But yeah, I am a big fan of Loe. He's really good.
Nah, he is, yeah. One of my favorites in Florida right now.
For sure. I guess that leaves it to me. My number 10, my first one, I'm going to go with Currency and Alchemist, Continuance. You shook your head, you must like that one. Oh no! All right. So Alchemist is my favorite producer of all time. I think Alchemist is the best producer of all time, just from the way he's literally gotten better since like those 90s like Mob Deep beats. I feel like his beats are just crazy, and I feel like him and Currency are like Shaq and Kobe. Like they don't miss together, in my opinion. And yeah, man, Babyface Ray's on the tape. To hear Ray over some Alchemist, that was exciting for me. I was like, that's super duper cool. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have so much to say about it because it's classic Alchemist and Currency. Like if you like Covert Coupe, go listen to Continuance, and that's really all I gotta say about that album.
I mean, I like Covert Coupe, but there was something about this one that was kind of just like boring to me, and maybe it's just how I view Currency's music these days, where it's just kind of just like he's back on the assembly line, just pumping out another like tape. But there was something about it that I just couldn't vibe with. And it's also happened with Alchemist beats for me too, because I remember there was a time like maybe like just a couple years ago where it kind of felt like an Alchemist beat was almost special, you know, when an Alchemist beat popped up. And he's been on this run the past couple of years of like these like rapper producer collaborative albums, some of which I like and some of which I think are just fine. But it's really kind of just like diluted the Alchemist sound to me. I know it's kind of crazy, but if I had to pick an Alchemist produced album from this year, it'd be the Rock Marciano one. I like that one. But
I'm not going to comment on that, but I'm going to just shake my head. I'm not going to comment on that one. But we'll see.
Comment on it.
Well, no. You'll see. You'll see why I say that. Just keep going. Keep going.
Nah, yeah, but that's how I feel about that album.
Did you hear Haram, the one that he did with Armie Hammer last year?
Yeah, I did.
Those are some very, like, I would have never guessed those were Alchemist beats. Like, he gave them some, like, crazy beats. So I don't know if you kind of put that in the same, like, oh, this sounds samey or whatever, but, like, that was like, whoa. I didn't know he had that.
And I'm not saying they all sound, like, exactly the same. Like, he's still, like, a wizard with finding samples and manipulating them and making them into, like, their own complete thing. I'm not saying, like, Alchemist is, like, a hack now or something like that. But there was just something that just kind of lost its specialness to me, and that just felt like part of the allure.
Okay, I respect it. All right. On you, I guess. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is speaking of we're talking about Rock Marciano. We'll talk about a New York rap album. It's Rome Streetz' "Kiss the Ring."
Didn't hear that one, by the way. So I did not hear that one.
Didn't. Well, Rome Streetz is a Queens rapper. He's kind of in the Griselda camp now, and I haven't been like, I'm not like a Griselda head or something. I'm not somebody's like, oh man, if you don't like West Side Gun, you're a fucking idiot, bro. Um, but Kiss the Ring was one that I liked a lot as beats by Camouflage Monk, Conductor Williams, and I think Rome Streetz has always been somebody that's been like a good consistent rapper, but I feel just being inducted into the Griselda camp just gave him like a pick of beats that really elevated his sound, and I mean it's just really just like good, just like hard New York rapping, just a lot of everything has color, every story has a setting and characters, and I just love that shit. We both get like that pick that we just pick it just because we're from there, and it's like an album that just like resonates with you because you're from New York, you're from Florida, or whatever. I think that's my pick.
Well, I'm gonna have to listen to that. I want you to guess my number 9 just off of this information. My number 9 comes from my most listened to rapper, and this album is my most listened to album this year, which I guess you probably say that should be number 1, but it's my most listened to album, most listened to person. Who do you think that is?
I'm gonna say it's is it Golden Boy's Chicken Man 3?
It's not Chicken Man 3, but it is Golden Boy. It is Golden Boy, Coach Golden 2. Absolutely love this album. Like I said, it's my most played album. I think my most played song is off of here as well. If you don't know Golden Boy, which kind of goes to your last number 9 pick, because like I said, it's like where you're from or whatever. Like you kind of feel a little bit more. So Golden Boy is a Florida rapper from D-Land. He is one of the most charismatic rappers I feel like out right now. The nigga is hilarious. It's a song on here. Or no, that's not. That's another album. But he dropped multiple albums this year. Kind of getting confused. Song got Persona where he say, "I done bought all the plastic bags out of Family Dollar." And shout out to that. There's so many freaking songs on here from What You Know About It. He got a bar on here where he say what he say? He said, "Let me use the bathroom, babe. I gotta fix my hat. I'ma hit the Ross on the hole. I ain't coming back." And I was like, what does that mean? And I thought about it, and I was like, oh, Rick Ross was on the 85 South show, and he asked them niggas where the bathroom at. It never came back. He just left. I was like, that's hilarious. Shout out to Golden Boy. Like I said, you would literally be laughing your ass off listening to this album, but you'll also be like, man, these songs are really good. So, yes, Coach Golden 2, that is my number 9, and also my most played album.
And he dropped a lot of music this year.
A lot.
I mean, we were talking. He dropped the tape like this week too.
He did.
The Chill Golden one. There's the Chicken Man one we were talking about. There's Golden Ticket. And they're all just packed with punchlines. And I mean, I sometimes don't like his beat selection. I sometimes wish it was like a little bit more, I don't know, like selective or something like that. It kind of just sounds like he jumps in the studio and he's like, play a beat and I'm gonna start rapping. I sometimes wish he was like, no, maybe listen to a beat pack or something. Just like, oh yeah, I'm feeling this one. But I mean, he's funny as hell.
Yeah. On you, number 8.
Number 8. I'm gonna make a slight detour. I know we were mostly talking about rap, but this one's influenced a bit by rap.
Are you reading my list? Because my number 8 is also not a rap album. You reading my list, nigga? That's crazy. Yeah.
We're gonna go to it's Asake's Mr. Money with the Vibe. Asake is like a Afro beats, Afro pop artist, and the album is just full of just like these like really bright like Amapiano infused rhythms. He kind of like the connection to rap. He almost like presents himself like a rapper. Like if you watch any of his music videos, it feels like you're watching a rapper. Like I went to a show this year, and like besides like the bigness of the performance, he kind of just feels like a rapper. But I mean, the songs are just like really just like fun and just like a good time, and there's just like a lot of them. It's one of those albums. Remember like a couple years ago when Bruno Mars dropped
24K Gold?
Yeah, 24K
24K Magic, yeah.
24K Magic, and it felt like you went through that whole album. Every song could be a single. That's how his album feels. It's just like every song is just like, oh, if this was played in the right setting, you could see this one being the hit. And I really like that one.
Definitely send that to me. I definitely need to check that out. You said Asake? That's his name?
Yeah, Shake, man.
Okay,
It's mad good.
for sure. All right, bet. Well, my number 8. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. My next couple are not rap albums at all. So maybe I should accept the rap format. But like I said, just what touched my heart this year. And this one is from a young lady who, hey, maybe this isn't journalistic of me, but hey, would definitely take this young lady on a date. She's beautiful. I love her. Love her to sing to me. You know, if you ever watched this, hey, I love your music. And that's Mrs. Ravyn Lenae. I love Ravyn Lenae. Her album Hypnos. I've been waiting for her music for a minute. She had a song with Steve Lacy on an EP way back in like 2017 called Sticky. And I was like, yo, this is really good. Sticky, icky, what you doing? I was like, yo, she's fire, man. And I've been waiting for it for a long time, and she finally gave us Hypnos. And songs like Satellites, songs like Venom. She has like, it's a very different type of sound because I've heard people complain that she sings a little too breathy, like it's way too breathy and it's not like vocalized enough. But I don't really have a problem with it. Like I said, I love her music, and yeah, man, I'm a big Ravyn Lenae fan, man.
Yeah, Venom's one of my favorite songs of the year.
So good.
Like, I was thinking about putting that album on my. I almost put that album on my list too. I was thinking about it today. This morning I was sitting there. I was like, damn, man.
So good, man.
I can see what people say about it being breathy. You know, that's definitely like a trendy like R&B-ish sound. But I mean, it really works. And the beats are good. And again, Venom, man. That's what.
Hey, man, straight Venom. They've been good. That's just so hard, bro. What? She was sliding.
Where's she from?
That's a good ad question. Where is Ravyn Lenae from? Let me see. You looking it up? I mean, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, she's from Washington. Or no. Her last name is Washington. She's from Chicago. Yeah. Interesting.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
That makes sense because she be collabing with No Name, and No Name from Chicago, ain't she?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Got you. Oh yeah, cause she be with like No Name and what's bro with the Prom King song Saba. That make a lot of sense. Okay, shout out to Chicago. Yeah, that's my number 8 though.
Yeah. Okay, my number 7 is gonna be. It's another Florida rap album actually. It's Real Boston Richey's Public Housing.
Okay.
But it's the fast version. It's the DJ Frisco version.
Nigga, that is funny. Okay, hey, I respect that so much. That's hilarious.
Because I remember early in the year I was talking to you about Real Boston Richey's Public Housing, like right around when it came out, and you were like, yeah, it's just hard, man. And I was like, no, it's cool, it's fine. You know, I was like, there's kind of something missing with it. And I think what I was missing is I just wanted it to be. I kind of wish it was like a little bit more intense, like a little bit more just like heart racing. And I feel like the fast version really does that. It really amps. It just like amps it. I mean, like all fast music does, amps it up, makes it more energetic. And I think it just really benefits from being that quick. I feel like the original version has definitely grown on me, like compared to like when I was first telling you that I was like kind of iffy on it. But I feel like sometimes his rapping is feels a little incomplete, or that I'm like, oh, I wish this was a bit more colorful. And I feel like those flaws are kind of covered up in the fast version, and you could just focus on like the hard hitting production. You could just focus on like the raps and you know, I love the way Frisco rewinds, slows down, adds in drops, and it just makes it like more chaotic, and that just feels like what the music wanted to be in the first place. So the fast version to me has almost become the original.
So that's how Florida niggas is, bro. A nigga will not hear your original version. They only know the fast version. Like niggas will wait till the fast version come up, or wait for either Frisco or Fetty Fee to speed it up and be like, okay, here we are. But to add a little caveat in there for people that don't know, Real Boston Richey, because like you said, he's missing some things. I feel like that does come from him only like being like a rapper since like this year. Like he's only been rapping for like a year basically or whatnot. So
Yeah.
I do think he will get better. And I'm a nigga. Like I said, I interviewed DJ Fetty Fee, who's like one of the bigger fast DJs down here, and I was telling nigga, I was like, bro, you need to start like speeding up stuff that's like, you know, out of the norm. And he was like, who? I was like, man, this is nigga named Bodie James. I said, bro, give me some Bodie James sped up. That might sound terrible, but I need to hear that. So that is a very funny answer. But no, that is a good album.
Drops on like Boldy and Nicholas Craven music.
Hey, bro, I might fuck it up. Well, I might put some. I'll tell that nigga to go speed up Mike, nigga. I might go crazy, man. But no, that is a really, really good album. It's not on my top 10, but it did make like my top 25 list. So yeah, that is a very good album. Next album, my 7, is once again, like I said, not a rap album. It is Gemini Rights by Mr. Steve Lacy. He had a chaotic tour for this album. Just want to start off with that. I mean, from niggas throwing phones at his face. I think it was smoke coming up. He couldn't breathe. One of my favorite videos is where the girl says, can you say hi to my mom? He says, can you shut up? Oh, he just starts singing. That is a hilarious video. Guy had a chaotic tour. But the album is chef's kiss for me. Love this album. I think Bad Habits, that is a funny song because he doesn't sing like that throughout this album. He sounds like a white boy. Like he does a white boy voice in that song. Like, can you bite my tongue? It's a bad habit. Take a stab at it. But like on Mercury, he doesn't sound like that. He sounds completely different. So that was an interesting.
That was like your little pop punk imitation.
Yes, that was my Green Day invitation right there. But that's how he sounds. But like on Mercury sounds like something that could have been on like a Sly and Family Stone album. So yes, love Steve Lacy. I've always loved Steve Lacy since like Dark Red days, and I feel like he's doing his thing. I will say his art direction kind of terrible. Those glasses absolutely stink. I don't know why he's wearing like a church choir button up with those glasses. Looks terrible. But other than that, love the album.
Yeah, I mean, I like the album too. I even like Bad Habits. I think Bad Habits is it's one of the best like #1 songs.
I agree.
In a while. Because I mean, if you look at the songs that have been reaching #1 in the last year, most of them are like trash. But Bad Habits is an actual good song.
Yeah.
I listen to that a lot, intentionally and unintentionally. So
good album or good song.
Yeah. Okay. My number 6 is Bandgang, Lonnie Banz's Scorpion Eyes. Did you listen to that one this year?
I did. That was he was rapping on that.
Yeah, it's a extremely heavy album. A lot of thoughts about addiction and death and suicide, and a lot of just like Lonnie just grabbing a beat. Usually like these really dark, skittering instrumentals that kind of make you feel uneasy, and just sort of just venting on tracks. At some points, it feels like he's not even rapping anymore. He's kind of just like talking, just like it almost feels like it's off the dome, even if it's not. And it's really one of the rawest albums I heard this year. And I feel like usually with albums like that, they're probably those are like projects that you maybe only listen to once or twice, and you're kind of like you almost feel too uncomfortable to just keep going. But for some reason, I kept listening to it. I listened to it a lot, and it felt like every time I listened, I found something new. And there are 4 or 5 songs on the album, from like Scorpion Eyes and Stop Rapping My Life to that I feel like if somebody told me that was my favorite rap song of the year, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. And I don't think it's like a perfect album either, but it's in the thorniness, the messiness of it all. It kind of just feels like somebody just letting everything out, and those imperfections kind of like play with it too. You're such a writer. Niggas have the thorniness. That's a writer. that's a journalist word right there. That's a goodie. But I'm not gonna lie, I only heard it one time, but I had those same feelings. Like, bro, this is heavy. Like, he is rapping about some very serious things, but he's always been the nigga like from Michigan that I could tell, like, he could tap into that. You feel me? Like, he's a very good writer. So, I need to go listen to it. I'm glad you brought that up because I may have heard it twice, but I didn't hear it enough to the point where I'm like, it's stuck, like, song stuck with me. But I do remember really liking it. So, I'm glad you have that on your list. It's one of those albums you listen to, you kind of just feel like you're in his head.
Yeah.
And the only way to get out is to like press pause. You know.
For sure, for sure. Take a little detour about this album because it's not on my list because, like I said, it's not like I just need to reconstruct it on my final thing. But that's how I feel about Ab-Soul album. The Ab-Soul album, which probably so I told you on the phone that before it came out, I said, bro, I know it hasn't came out. This is going to be album of the year. I think it might be my album of the year. Like I said, I need to do some more reevaluation because it's not in there yet. But thoughts on Ab-Soul album?
Do you think part of that is your connection to Ab-Soul, like, and hearing about like everything he's been through in the last couple of years, and this album is kind of like addressing that in a way, or just like him like opening up, being vulnerable about that? Do you think like your connection to him is what puts this album over the edge?
I think probably so. Like this not being like my first Ab-Soul album, like this being like my however many albums he put out, like yeah, I definitely have been along the ride, the journey, the these days. Like I heard Twacked, you feel me? Like I had to listen to that song. So I mean I've seen the ups and the downs, and I feel like yeah, that is like a part of the journey. But I just think he is rapping excellent on this album. Like this is like best rapper alive material for me. Like I listen to Ab-Soul sometimes and I'm like, yo, I don't know if you heard his LA Leakers freestyle, but like that was like some best rapper alive material type stuff. So yeah, I think on top of me like being a part of the journey, I think this is just like kind of like, bro, you might be the best rapper out right now.
I actually kind of like it, and it's not an album that I thought I mean, I haven't liked an Ab-Soul project. I know he hasn't put out one in a long time, probably since like Control System.
Yeah.
But it's kind of in the same vein of what I was talking about with Lonnie. So like, this is a good point to bring it up, where I just feel like there's a lot of vulnerable and a lot of just like moments where you feel like you're in his head. A lot of moments where you feel uncomfortable too. And not to say that's like something that I almost go into albums looking for, like, oh, you have to open up this much for it to be a good album. But I think when it's done pretty well and earnestly, that it's something that I'm like drawn to, and I think with the Ab-Soul album, he definitely does that.
Shout out to my boy Solo. My number 6 though, I'm gonna put money you've never heard of this one, and this is not a rap album again, but it is Blk Odyssey, Black Vintage.
I haven't heard it. Tell me about it.
So Blk Odyssey, Black Vintage, I can really just sell you on this one song because it's such a crazy collaboration. They have a song on the deluxe that's called Benny's Got a Gun, and it's featuring Benny the Butcher and George Clinton. What sense does that make? Who knows? But it made sense in the song. And they are a R&B group that fuses together like jazz and rock and of course R&B, like I said. And it's so soulful, but it has like a groove to it that's jazzy, and it has like rock influences. And like I said, freaking Blk Odyssey, they put their foot into this, and it is some beautiful songs on here. Freaking Funkology, I would say, is a good song if anybody wants to look up some stuff. Let me look at this track list really quickly. What else is on here that's super duper good? Ghost Ride is crazy. Hang Low, that's some really good singing. If anybody's ever seen the show Random Acts of Flyness, like this would be the soundtrack to that show. So just to give you what it sounds like, this would fit the vibe of Random Acts of Flyness. So
it's kind of like hazy, a little bit hazy, a little bit.
Yeah, something like that. But it got some blackness to it, got some soul to it. So by the way, the new season that just came out, got to catch up on it. But do love that show. But yeah,
definitely watch that.
But yeah, I would say that is my number 6. And like I said, bro, it is an album that not a lot of people know about. But like I said, bro, anybody featuring Benny the Butcher and George Clinton on one song, you have to listen to it. Because, like, what does that even sound like if you never heard it, you know?
Yeah. Is it mostly, like, singing? Like, what type, what is it, like, very soulful, like, very, like, heavy singing?
It's
or is
singing.
It, like,
it's singing, but bro, like, kind of flowing on there. Like, it's certain songs where he kind of, like, singing, flowing. Like I feel like a D'Angelo, he be singing, but D'Angelo got songs where he kind of flowing. You know what I'm saying? Like on Voodoo, like his songs where he kind of just like singing, but he got like a little flow to it. So I would say it's like that. Like Brett kind of sound like D'Angelo also, so it's that as well. So yeah, I would suggest it for anybody looking for just something that's amazing. I would put it in an amazing category. It's really good.
Yeah. So it made you think a little bit about D'Angelo. You saying?
He sound like his vocals sound like D'Angelo, and like I said, the fact that D'Angelo's like he be flowing those songs, he be kind of flowing, singing at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. Side note: did you watch the Atlanta episode from this year about D'Angelo?
Why did I think that possibly could have been D'Angelo? I was like, maybe D'Angelo agreed to this, but nigga turned around and it was not D'Angelo.
So like the whole episode, you're thinking like, damn, maybe he's really about to pop up.
Well, when the nigga with the braids was singing, I was like, is that D'Angelo? But then nigga turned around, I was like, that ain't D'Angelo. But yeah, they had me for a little second.
Okay, my number 5 is an R&B album. It is Yaya Bay's "Remember Your North Star," and she's a singer, songwriter, producer. She has a little bit of rapping on the not like full all out rapping, but she knows a little bit of a flow to it too. On his album, she's from Brooklyn, and a lot of the albums just like her almost like going through different stages of life, whether it's like addressing like relationships that are maybe are at their breaking point. Some relationships maybe that are just starting. One of my favorite songs is "Meet Me in Brooklyn," which is kind of just like this like reggae-ish infused song that kind of just feels like you're at the day at the jerk chicken spot or some shit. And some of it's a little bit more bouncy. There's like the DJ Native Son co-produced Pour Up, which kind of has like this kind of like dance vibe to it. And some of the songs she's just like almost just like going in, but not like in the way where she's like just like a milli or something, but just like she's just flowing and like venting. And I think one of those like reprise. And I mean, have you heard this album?
I was gonna say, you got to send me your list because some of these albums I've never heard of. I've never heard of this.
Not. I'm surprised you haven't heard this one. I feel like you would like it.
Okay.
I mean, definitely has a lot of soul to it too. And I mean, she's talking about real shit on there. She's talking about going through all these things and just still trying to like find her self-worth through it. And I mean, I think it's something that would like resonate with you too.
All right, for sure. What's her name? Yaya Bay.
Yeah.
What's the name of the album?
Remember Your North Star.
Okay, for sure. For everybody watching, still watching, this will be like both our lists should be in the description. So if you need links to everything, should be there. But I will check that out. So this is kind of like a little inside baseball. Supposed to have Sean C on here. Sean C couldn't make it. I know Sean C hates his album. I don't know how you feel. I think you also hate this album, so kind of interesting. But starting off with my top 5, you know how sticky it gets. Mr. Drake, honestly, Nevermind. Bro, I love this album, bro. This album is so good to me, bro. Like, when he started off with the Falling Back, I was like, yeah, this stinks. He sucks. Like, he cannot sing. But for whatever reason, on that, like, 4th listen, I was falling on you.
That's the best song on there.
You like that song? Bro, I did not like that song off of like first couple listens, but I love that song. I think my favorite song might be Texaco Green. Texaco Green, it is a little different. That's fire. Overdrive, I've always said that sounds like something that would be like in a CW like teen drama show, but it works. I like it. Yeah, man, bro, I love that album, bro. Like when we get to this top 5, really the top 6, really all these albums, but I would say like top 6, top 5. Any of these could be number 1 for me. Like I love them so much, and yeah, man. Honestly, Nevermind, great album.
Do you consider that like one of your most played albums of the year?
Probably.
Is that something that you were just like playing all the time?
Yeah, I did play this a lot.
I mean, I'll say when Honestly Nevermind came out, I didn't really like it that much. I kind of felt like it was extremely like watered down dance music, and I felt that Drake's vocals weren't really strong enough to carry it. And I think I still feel like that, but then Her Loss came out, and Her Loss was so bad that I was like, you know what, man?
We gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about that album. We gotta talk about that.
Nah, it was so bad that it kind of made me like go back to Honestly Nevermind and be like, you know what? Maybe this wasn't as bad. Like it could be way worse than this. And I mean, because there are definitely songs on Honestly Nevermind. I like Massive, and like I mentioned, I like Falling Back. And it definitely is like a Drake album that I think will be remembered like kind of strangely. I think it'll be like one of the more polarizing albums that he's ever dropped and probably will ever drop. And I don't know if he'll ever do something like that again. And so I kind of respect it, even if I don't like. I'm not like, yo, DJ, throw on sticky. But I don't know. I feel like it's something that I may like grow to like over time, but still right now I still feel like it's kind of just watered down.
I feel like my least favorite song is Jimmy Cooks because it doesn't fit. But if we're talking about Her Loss, I didn't think that was a bad album. I just think 21 Savage was very unnecessary on that album. Like he added he was rapping bad on the album to me. Like 21 Savage was rapping like Cat in the Hat. Like it was like Dr. Seuss, green eggs and ham and a lamb. Like that wasn't good to me.
He's not even used well in the album. He's not on it nearly as much as he should be for a collaborative album. First of all, and a lot of his verses do feel like mailed in, or just like when he gets the name date song, you know. Yeah. It just feels like.
Did not like that. I was like 3 a.m. in Glenwood.
There's no weight to it.
Yeah, did not like that. But yeah, that is my number. I think that was 5. So I think we're on your number 4.
Yeah, my number 4 is CEO Trayl's HH5. I mean, CEO Trayl's like a nomadic rapper. You know, he grew up a little bit in Bronx, Alabama. I think now we basically consider him Atlanta rapper, but he's definitely influenced heavily by Chicago and Keith and all that. And HH5 is another one, kind of like what we were talking about with Scorpion Eyes before. Is that it's another one where you just feel like you're in his head for a lot of time. There's a song Alter Ego 2 where CEO Trayl's just arguing with the voice in his head about like, oh man, like the way you're living is not right. And it's like, this is the way I'm living because I have to. And a lot of the beats are just really dark and sinister. And he always has this kind of slow, creeping flow. And I feel like it's one of the best rap albums of the year, you know?
So the nigga like I was saying before I started, this list comes from another podcast I did with my homie Amp Random Acts podcast. I created this list for his like little bonus podcast he was doing, and he had that on his list. And so it's the second time I'm hearing that. I gotta listen to it. I do know who CO Trayle is. I do think CO Trayle is fire, but the alter ego thing that really catches my eye. That's interesting.
Yeah. Did you hear the song he did on the From the Block series, Song Cry?
No.
Let's listen to that one first. That's an amazing song right there.
Okay, definitely got to tap in. When you said on the block, you talking about like when they be freestyling with the microphone in front of them?
Yeah.
Definitely gonna check it out. This one is number 104. I'm gonna build this up as I've gotten a lot of hate from this. You know what? I'm gonna give you my 2. I knew you got a lot of them. I knew you got a lot of things you said people hated. I'm gonna give you my top 2 hated takes that I've ever said. Number 1 is probably me saying that Boosie debut album is better than Reasonable Doubt. A lot of people hate that, and I will stand by that to this day.
I mean, that's just like a really southern.
Stand by that to this day. My second one is about this man that I'm going to talk about. I have said this guy is, when we're talking technical rappers, just on a technical lyricist basis, I think he is the best rapper to ever hail from the great state of the Sunshine State, or some call it the Gunshine State of Florida. And that is Mr. Robb Banks. Robb Banks, I think, when he is at his top tier, I've heard him say stuff that is like, whoa, that's nutty. And Falconia, I think he came back into prominence. Very interested to hear what you guys say about this, but I've grew up on Robb Banks. I loved him for forever. The City, a lot of his tapes, mixtapes, put out like he was hitting. Then for a little minute, he kind of fell off for me a little bit. But Falconia, He's rapping excellent. Even the singing stuff, because he did a lot of singing stuff that I was like, I don't know if I like this. But the singing on here, I feel like he improved. It all makes sense. The deluxe to this album is what made this top 5 material to me, because the deluxe is not one miss, from Post Nut Clarity to what else off the top of my head. Freaking the intro. The intro to the tape is nuts to me. The intro to the deluxe is nuts. Everything is fire. His rapping is good. And yeah, man. Lifted featuring Trippie Redd is really good. I mean, bro, man, he just didn't miss, bro.
He didn't miss it. It's like 27 songs.
That's how crazy the album is. Like, there's probably like a couple that are like, okay, this is not as good as the other one, but for the most part, I love this album, bro, from start to beginning, including the deluxe.
You told me to listen to the album. I hadn't listened to it until you told me that you really liked it, and I pulled it up and I saw how long it was. I was like, yo, let me. I was like, I think I was like at the gym or something. And I was like, you know what, man? Let me go take a seat. I was like, yo, this shit's mad long. But I mean, I used to like Robb Banks a lot. Like back in, I played what was that mixtape? Calendars.
Yeah.
And The City. I played them a lot in like, was it 2013 or whatever. This right here, it was actually better than I thought it was going to be. I was surprised that he was rapping as well, because again, he was somebody that like he fell off for me too for a long time. I mean, some of it is just so corny. Like there was one line where he was like, I forget what song it's on. It might have been the "You Wanna Rock" song, yeah. And he's like, oh, your mama. He had like a Wilmer Valderrama reference. From,
yes. That's yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I forget the bar, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I was like, bro, where is this coming from? Who's making a Wilmer Valderrama reference in like 20? He was talking about like in the album. He's like, yo, watch it, Naruto. I was like, bro, get a new anime, man. It's time. You know, like what year are you in?
But isn't that the whole? I don't watch anime, but he's referencing himself to a character, an anime character throughout this. It's from that.
Yeah.
What is it? Keep talking. I'll look it up. But he's referencing like some anime character that, pretty sure some weeb will love. What is it? Fucking. It's like some. Whatever, I'll find it. But yeah, What did you think?
But there are songs like on it, like the one with Uzi. I think they're bouncing off each other well. You're right about the singing. There, I think one of my favorite ones on there is what's it called? Conflict Resolution. It's a 2-part song.
That's that one.
I was ready, honestly, to come here and like make fun of the singing to you, but I listened to that one and I was like, you know what? It kind of works. And it really creates a mood, and how he like transitions into the second part. It goes over really smoothly, and so the album is better than I thought it was. I think it's pretty good, even if there's a song called like Him Jong Un or what was that one?
Him Jong Un, that's my favorite song, bro.
I can't stand that song.
What? Bro, he's rapping so well on that song, bro.
It's just so corny.
What he said? That nigga say, I forget what he say, but that nigga say, I got the, what he say? I got the machine gun on me, Megan Fox. Something connected dots. I'll smack a nigga like Loaded Lux, bro. That nigga was going crazy, bro.
There's some beats on the album too. I was like, did I accidentally click over to Baby on Baby? Some of the beats are not working.
That's funny. That's super duper funny. Berserk, by the way, is the anime that he references. He references Berserk. But yeah, man, Conflict Resolution. I've seen a lot of people say that's like one of their favorite Robb songs. So yeah, man, shout out to Robb Banks.
Oh yeah, it is like I know I have had a favorite Robb song in like 10 years, but like it's up there.
Hey man, shout out to Robb. I will not let this guy Alphonse slander your name, Robb. You do no wrong in my eyes, my boy. That's a lovely album. But yeah, on to you. I think that's what we're on your number 3.
Yeah, number 3. It's actually an album I told you to listen to too. It's Marijuanaxo and Joe Pablo's Window Service. It's a Milwaukee rap album. They're a duo. The core theme of their music is just like, these are just two guys, two brothers, and they just like they just cook dope together, hang out with each other, and just get it's just music about getting money together, and I think it has a lot of like the core elements of what makes Milwaukee rap so fun right now. It has like the funky beats, it has like the collaborative spirit, the way people bounce off each other. It has just like where every song is it is similar in sound, but they all feel like they all feel like a different like chapter, a different part of the story, and it's another one of those albums that it's just a lot of songs that I love on here. Like there's the one that's WWE. I don't know if you got to that one where they're just just bounce off each other. Queen and Slim. My favorite is probably My Brother, where they're just like like talking about how like I'll go to jail for you, man. I'll do anything for you. It's a little homoerotic, probably, And I love that shit. It reminds me of like watching like one of my like martial art movies where the guy's just like, oh man, I want to die in your arms or something like that. It's like that, like dramatic, and they're really just talking about just like getting their like credit card scams off, but they're so over the top with it, and I really love that album.
Okay, so I did like it, but the only thing in my brain I could just think about is like, damn, this just sounds like some Detroit Junior type stuff. It's the only thing I could think about. But after hearing you talk about it more, and you talking about like what you think differentiates the Detroit and the Milwaukee sound, it makes me want to go back to listen. So I gave it 2 listens, and I was like, okay, I like this. It was songs that I was like, okay, this is good, but I just felt like it don't give me like when I listen to Florida music and they rapping over Detroit beats, I feel like, okay, I know the difference. I'm like, this just feels like the Junior version of it, but that's me giving it 2 listens. I need to give it another listen, and I think I need to.
You have to stick. You're gonna have like the entire city on your head because they hate that comparison.
I know. I've seen it. I've seen
it. They're trying to get it. They're trying to get it off of it. But I mean, there definitely similarities. Like, but yeah, I mean, some of those like 80s synthesizer beats that are on there are just like that. Bro, that's just Milwaukee right there.
Hey, I gotta go and listen to it again. Hey, my mama from Milwaukee, so I don't know if the Milwaukee niggas will get off my head for that. You know what I'm saying? My legit mom is from Milwaukee, so I will go back and give it a 3rd listen. I will say this before I get into my number 3. My favorite duo album of the year, that's not like producer rapper, just rapper, is Blue Butts Clanway 3. I did like that album. And
I like it too. They were saying some crazy shit.
They did. So shout out to them. But my number 3 is an album that I said hold off on, and I said I'll talk about it later, and that is Rock Marciano and the Alchemist, The Elephant Man Bones. That is a phenomenal album. Hey man, Rock Marciano is a problematic nigga. He like that nigga is like, you know them red pill niggas? He damn near a red pill nigga in rap form. That nigga hates women, bro. Not on this album, but that nigga got a bar where he say, I'm finna furnish my house with bitches. I'm finna put a bitch over there and a bitch over there. And bitch, I'm finna sit on you like a chair. Say you finna sit on a bitch like a chair is insane. Anyway, that nigga, listening to him when niggas be like, oh, Future's like, he's a super misogynistic nigga. No, that is Rock Marciano. Rock Marciano is the most fucking toxic nigga I've ever heard. But he's so good. He's rapping so well. The beats on here, like I said, this is why I listen to Alchemist and I say, oh, Alchemist is like the best like producer that I've ever heard, and they did not miss on here. I love this. Freaking Quantum Leap, Elephant Man's Bones. What else on here? I think my favorite definitely is Daddy Kane. Bro, it is some crazy stuff on here, man. What do you say? He said I'm in my 40s still looking boisterous. He's so good, man. I love him. So yeah, shout out to Rock Marcy, man.
Nah, I mean, these are definitely good Alchemist beats. I know. I think I mentioned that before. I mean, Quantum Leap. That's my favorite song on here.
That's not Daddy King. Quantum Leap. That's the one where he say something like he finna take the something to Wyoming. I think, right? That's the Quantum Leap. Yeah, that's fucking great, man.
That's the one where he says I cop Benz that comes with his own personal Farnsworth Bentley.
Come on, man. What?
But yeah, and he definitely reeled it in a little bit on this album. Like you were talking about, he's a super misogynist. I mean, it doesn't come through. It's not as like trying to think of the one from a couple years ago. It might have been Marciano or Mount Marcy, where he's kind of just like a little bit overboard. But he's definitely reeled in. Like Alchemist sat him down, like put his hand on the shoulder, was like, "Yo, bro,
Hey,
I'm putting my name on this
hey,
one." Like,
deja vu. He said, I'm way too player to not womanize. He's hilarious, man.
yeah.
Shout out to
I don't
Robb,
care what he's
man.
doing. He's like trying to be like from one of those black exploitation like
Yeah.
pimp movies. I'm in my truck Turner bag, you know.
It's hilarious, man. Yeah, shout out
It's
to Robb.
crazy. You got Ice-T on here.
Hey, that was a cold. He cut a cold promo. That was a good Ice-T promo right there. Very good Ice-T promo.
Yeah. Okay, my number 2 is, I'm not sure if you heard this one. It's Cash Cobain and Chow's Too Slizzy, Too Sexy.
I'm familiar, but never heard it.
Yeah, I mean it's a New York rap album. Horny as hell. It's just like it's Cash Cobain is a producer mainly from the Bronx, but like part of that whole scene in Queens. Like he produced a lot of like the Shawnee Bin Laden songs, like a lot of like the early sample drill type things. Like he produced like B Loves, My Everything, and all that shit. But he's also a rapper here as well as a producer. And Chow is from Hempstead, Long Island, and it's basically just them two. The deluxe version I should like specify is the best version. It's basically them two just like hitting on girls and just like going around like just like having sweaty sex and just hitting up the bars and the clubs and like just going around, and it's very catchy. A lot of like fun hooks. The beats pull from drill as much as they do Jersey Club, but they're all very bright and shit that you want to dance to. A lot of familiar samples. I mean, they sample the Future and Drake "Wait for You." They sample another Drake song. Say "I'm on One." You know, some of them are more familiar. Some are like there's one where they flip "Hey There's Delilah," and they're all not that familiar as those, but they always do a good job of like manipulating them or like breaking them down enough to where the appeal isn't just like, oh, I heard this song before, but it's like what this song is now, and it's really just one of like the most fun, like unhinged albums of the year, and I feel like you should listen to it.
Another album I have not heard, but I know his publicist people, and they've told me about him repeatedly. So I never really tapped in. Like I've heard him, but I never really tapped in like I should have tapped in. Like never like a full album. So we'll check that out.
Yeah, you need him on the YouTube. You need the interview.
Oh, hey, like I said, definitely. I mean, I just talking about horny niggas. Just interviewed a nigga talking about popping gas station pills a couple hours ago. So I mean, definitely we'll tap in.
You gotta ask them why they always want to fight the dads that the girls are sleeping with. Like why?
Is that a reoccurring theme in the songs?
Yeah, it is.
It's hilarious. I'm gonna definitely go listen to that. Next is my rap album of the year, meaning that my number 1 is not a rap album, but my rap album of the year comes from a guy who I found out about when I was in high school.
This is your number 2?
This is my number 2, but it's my rap album of the year. Yeah, because my number 1 is
rap
not a rap
album?
album. Yeah. This not,
Okay.
yeah. So nigga had to relook at nigga say, "Oh, what's going on over there? You keep it track." Found out about this guy when I was in high school and loved the song that I heard, but after a little bit of time, I was like, bro, he sound like the same. Like everything get a little bit too samey or whatnot. And he's came back a couple times where he kind of broke it, but then he went back to it. On this album that I'm about to talk about, this nigga did something that I didn't think he had in him, and I was like, I said Ab-Soul was in his best rapper alive bag. This nigga is in his best rapper alive bag. And I don't want to keep teasing you. I'm going to let you know who I'm talking about. And that person is no other than the man himself. Who?
The Baby.
Kirk. No, it's not. It's not Kirk. It is, his real name do start with a K. NBA YoungBoy. 3800 Degrees. This album is my rap album of the year by far. The flows he's doing on here, They're fun. They're bouncy. What's the word you use for that one nigga that I said was thorny? You know what I'm saying? Nigga, this thorny bag. Bro, when I heard Amped Up featuring Mouse on the beat, bruh, I was like, this song sounds like it should be a hit in 2007 and 2022 at the same damn time, like Future say. That is a great song. I'm in it, doing a great nigga. That song is so hard, man. Like I said, bro, let me look at this track list real quick, man. Freaking Won't Step on Me, that's crazy. Pimpin' the bitch and we thuggin' it. Oh, he's a pimpin' niggas, we rubbing these niggas, we could, we come from the offside.
The flow on Pimpin' the bitch is crazy.
Oh my gosh, bro. Freaking Chop on My Shoulder. I don't know what song it is. I laugh at the bar every time where he says, C Murder said he want to protect him sitting on the edge of his bed with a K. Like, I'm just imagining, like, this nigga C Murder on the edge of his bed with a big-ass chopper. Like, why are you on the edge of NBA YoungBoy bed with this big-ass chopper? Freaking E40 gives one of the most hilarious verses that you'll hear. Bro, I love this whole album, bro. I mean...
E40 is just trying to get his wine off, bro.
Hey, what he say? That nigga say, all my people on white people drugs. That was really funny. But like I said, man, freaking, I handle one. Like, I don't want to leave out anything. But yes, like you said, pimping the bitch, that flow. Pimping the bitch, we robbing these nigga because we come from the north side. That is amazing. But I'll let you go. Go listen to Rap Album of the Year. I know you like that album. I've seen you compliment that album. So, yeah, love it, man.
I mean, Eric, this is why we get along.
Let's go! Let's go! I knew it! I knew it, nigga! I knew it!
My number one is 3800.
Let's go! I knew it, man!
Man, I mean, honestly, I know it only came out, would it come out in October or November? It came out like October.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to go down as like the YoungBoy. It's not going to be like the YoungBoy project. I mean, because that's going to be like AI YoungBoy or something like that. From a popularity standpoint and like what it means to him. But I feel like for like the people that really like YoungBoy, this is gonna be like a touch point. It's the one where all of his musical influences come together, and where it's not just him just like, oh yeah, like he's hinted at it before, like, oh, I'm doing this collab album, Birdman or something, or you know he loves Wayne and Thug and his the local like Little Fats and stuff like that, Boosies, but this is just like him doing it in his own way and completely building on it. And like you said, a lot of these songs sound like they could be a hit in like 1998, and they could also be a hit now or something like that. And I think it was somewhat refreshing too, because it's almost him opening up in a new way. Like we're used to YoungBoy being like telling us about his feelings and like using his albums or mixtapes as some sort of like journal or diary, but this is just like getting into his head in a completely different way, like through the music that he loves. And it's like the rare YoungBoy album that feels made out of love, you know?
Man, he hinted with this flow that he's doing on the last Slime Toe album. And one thing that I do dislike that he does, he'll put 50 songs on the album. But I think he was doing that apparently to like get out of his like contract or something like that, so understandable. But he hinted with that on a couple songs, and when I heard that, what song was it? Where I was like, it might have been Hold Your Own on that album. I'm not mistaken. It was one of those songs where I was like, bro, this nigga is rapping like, I was like, nigga, is this Billy Woods? Like, bro, this nigga got a crazy flow, bro. This is crazy, bro. So when he went full on that on 3800 Degrees, like, bro, this nigga sounded the third member of Arm & Hammer, bro. This nigga is rapping insane right now. So yeah, man, I'm so glad to hear that shit number one. That is my favorite rap album of the year. And yeah, man, he showed me like when niggas be like, white beat, like I know that's the meme, like white be better. I'm like, oh, he might be like this. Like if this nigga could do this, he might be. He's that one. He's that boy, man.
No, yeah, it's the YoungBoy project for me.
And it brought a little smile to my Floridian Southern heart to hear a New York nigga shout out Lil Fat. So that was pretty cool, man. Rest in peace, Lil Fat, man. A little fun fact about
we're evolving up here, you know.
Hey, a little fun fact about Little Fat. At his, I would just say this: at his funeral, Webby gave one of the all-time funeral speeches. he called God his nigga like 30 times, and it was just classic Webby, and it was very heartfelt, but it was super duper good. Freaking computer finna die. Let's charge that up. We are good. But yeah, man, I do agree with you. And hey, just a little tidbit. Anybody wonder, hey, who is Lil Fat? Go listen to In My Neighborhood, Little Fat featuring Lil Boosie. One of my favorite Lil Boosie features of all time. Hilarious Boosie feature. He ends it with, you have to hear it. It's a fucking hilarious verse. You have to hear it. Either way, I guess we get to my number one. Close this thing out. Like I said, that is my rap album of the year, but not my rap album of the year. So what's my album of the year? My album of the year is probably my second most played album of the year, behind that Golden Boy album, and it came out. And another guy who, man, I mean, this guy got me through some stuff. When his album dropped in, I think it was 2016, after a breakup, that nigga was talking everything I needed to hear at that time. But he also kind of lost me a couple times or whatever, came back. But just like YoungBoy, I'm like, oh, this is different, and I love it. And with that said, that is Mr. Weeknd Don FM. That is my album of the year. I love that album. It is so dancey. I once again kind of like the Drake album. I'm like, what is this? The way it starts off, he's like singing really like weird, and it's like, what is this? He was singing in that very weird voice, and it keeps going, and you're like, oh, this is like one of the best albums of the year. And it personally has probably my favorite, what do you call it, outro of the year, with Less Than Zero. I can't keep it out of my hands. I love that song. Fire. Lil Wayne verse on I Heard You're Married. That was good. Only bad thing about this, and I don't really think I got any bad things about the YoungBoy album, but I do have something about this. Tyler, the Creator, can we ban him from being featured on anybody's album? Tyler, the Creator might have made himself the worst feature artist. Every verse I've heard on Tyler, the Creator as a feature, if it's this, that West Side Gun album, you name it, it absolutely stinks. He's rapping about nothing on this song. He's talking about getting a prenup for whatever reason. I don't know what he's talking about. Just keep it away from me. But like I said, the way it starts off with Gasoline, Sacrifice, Out of Time. I mean, come on, man. He doesn't miss, man. So yeah, man. Like I said, that Less Than Zero, that's the one. And yeah, man. Don't Break My Heart is also a very, very fire sleeper. But yeah, man, that's my album of the year. Oh no, we left off with a good note. Come on, don't do it to me, man. Don't do it to me.
We've had this good moment, but I feel like a month ago. Was it a month ago? When did there was a hurricane? It was like toward the end of the hurricane season
In Florida?
Yeah.
That was a minute ago. It was like a couple months ago.
It was like a month and a half ago or something like that, and it had come up to New York that day, and I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but it turned out to be shitty. And I was like driving down the Belt Parkway, in Brooklyn with it. So and it was dark out too. So I had both hands on the wheels because I couldn't see like a foot in front of me on the road, and everybody's driving crazy. It's Brooklyn. Everybody's just driving. And one of the songs from Dawn FM came on the radio, and I tried so hard to change it that I almost swerved into another lane. I couldn't even see in front of me. I tried so hard to change it, and I did change it. And after, I was like, "Damn, man! I almost fucked myself up trying to get out of the Dawn FM trying to change the song." And after, I was like, "You know what? It was kind of worth it, I can't stand the album.
Oh my gosh, man! What's the song? He has a song about almost dying at the disco club or something. He almost died in a hurricane listening to. Hey, you would have probably been way more safe for letting that, because I feel like that's a very soothing album. You probably would have made very smart decisions listening to Mr. Abel sing. But what's wrong with the album?
I don't know. It's just one of those albums that's just grated on me the more I've heard it. I don't like the Weeknd's voice anymore. I don't like the. You were talking about how it has kind of like that, Honestly Nevermind dancey thing going, but I mean, I would definitely rather listen to Honestly Nevermind. Just the sounds are a little bit little bit brighter, a little bit. They even dancier to me. I can't even see anybody dancing to Dawn FM. Like people describe it as a dance album, but it doesn't make me feel that. It just kind of feels not alive to me. There's something just so boring about it, and it's from his voice, it's from his singing. It doesn't feel motivated to me.
I'm gonna tell you two things I don't indulge in. I don't indulge in drugs, and I don't indulge in white women. If you told me, hey, go to a club with a bunch of white women and drugs, and you'll have the best time of your life, I might make an exception to indulge in drugs and white women. Because I feel like this album might be even more fire off of like a Molly and like 30 blonde women. I feel like that is probably the ensemble. And I'm not even around that. But I feel like I could see the vision that he was going for. And even in my house, I'm just dancing to it. So, hey, man, maybe you might need to get some Molly in your gums, get around some Hannahs or something, and have a blast, man.
I mean, the Weeknd's one of those artists, kind of like Robb Banks. Not to compare the Weeknd to Robb Banks, but that I really haven't liked in a long time. Like there was a time where I used to love the Weeknd, but probably not since Beauty Behind the Madness or something like that. I just can't get with it anymore.
What was that little EP put out? Like maybe top of 2020 or 2019 or something like that. It was like that five-track EP, and everybody was like, "The Weeknd back," because it sounded like he was like kind of in his old bag.
Like the My Dear Melancholy.
Yes. You didn't like that?
Not really.
Dang.
I mean, I'd rather just listen to the older songs. Yeah. I mean, I still like the House of Balloons, and not to be the guy who's like, "Oh man, I wish you to make your old stuff," but I mean, it was better.
Oh man, hey, I respect it though, because I feel like that about him for a very long time, and I feel like he's so out of that element in his life, because I feel like during that time he was probably just like a shitty drug head, because he was talking just about like being like a shitty boyfriend and doing drugs or whatever. Probably still does drugs, but I feel like he's probably out of that just like broke. Like I feel like you had to be in a certain headspace to make that type of music, kind of like Robb Banks. Robb Banks, he once said on Twitter, somebody was like, "Yo, we need the City Part 2." He was like, "If you want me to make the City Part 2, I have to like regress in life and mess up my life and become like addicted to drugs and just terrible." And sadly, a lot of niggas' best music come from like niggas being messed up on drugs or heartbreak and stuff like that. So I feel like he needed to kind of switch it up, and he did that with Dawn FM. And hey, one day you'll appreciate it. You'll get it. It'll click for you one of these days.
You know what happens sometimes. Like when like a movie director comes out and then they make a bunch of money, and all of a sudden all the movies suck. That's what happens.
That's hilarious. Hey man. But yeah, that's my list. That's your list. We got to make this a yearly thing for the people, man.
We should
make this a yearly. Any name?
I was just happy to see us both have 3800 degrees on here. I was getting worried you didn't have it on there.
Pimpity bitches jacking nigga because we come from that north side. Amazing rap album. But yeah, man, we've been going very long time. I'll let you close it out for the people watching, man. If you got any last words you want to say, man, let the people know.
Nah, man, I love being able to talk to you about rap. We chop it up like throughout the year, and to be able to lay it down is a good time.
Hey, now I can talk to you about wrestling. I had no idea you're a wrestling fan. That's very interesting. But for everybody watching right now, I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, I say what I mean. I mean what I say. Haters gonna hate, players gonna play. You guys, holla at your boy.